So as I was out and about yesterday, somebody came up and said to me, "What the fuck are you looking at?" But then later on somebody else came up and said to me, "What do you think of those langers down in Cork with their robot trees?" Well, as you can imagine, my curiosity was immediately aroused. So obviously I had to rush home immediately and get to the bottom of this. In my mind, thinking, worrying, had this finally happened? Were we here now? So I did a bit of this. And lo and behold, it's not quite as bad as you think, but it is bad. Public servants have absolutely no regard for public money and just think it's all free money and don't really give a shite how they spend it. Alright, so let's talk about Cork City Council more precisely, and what those geniuses have come up with in their latest climate crusade, their latest green agenda, their latest green plan of action, and what it means for Cork people, what it means for the country in general, what it means for the environment, and what it means for money thrown down the toilet. Okay, so let's start our journey of inquisition into this debacle, this latest public sector, public service debacle, one of a never-ending series, it seems, of such things here in Ireland. So hop on over, we shall, to RTE, not a place I usually go to for much, I can tell you, since RTE is pretty much just the de facto propaganda wing of the Irish government, Irish state. What's the deal, says RTE, with the robot trees in Cork? Well, what's the deal indeed? Right, okay, well there's your picture there. These are the offending objects. These are the robot trees. Not exactly that, but okay, you gotta start somewhere, alright? I mean, it's only 2021. Give it time, we will get there, no doubt. Right, so there's your robot trees in the picture there, and Cork City have bought, it seems, 5 of these. Like something somebody knocked up in a shed with a bit of plywood and a few lats. Okay, let's see what it's all about, because having looked into this a little bit, I think you're going to enjoy this one. Yeah, public money, taxpayers' money, sure, it's all free money, doesn't matter what you spend it on, you can just do what you like with it. There's always more where that came from. It seems that's the de facto logic in county councils and city councils at the moment. Controversy has erupted, says RTE, after the installation of 5 high-tech city trees on the streets of Cork city centre as part of a new measure to tackle pollution and improve air quality. Robot trees. You couldn't just, I don't know, plant real trees. Just throwing it out there. The so-called robot trees are large wooden structures, like that there. There you go. Seriously. Will you hear what they paid for them? The so-called robot trees are large wooden structures with inbuilt sensors, which will share information on TV screens about the air particles coming in and out. Like, that's exactly what we all were looking for. That's what we were all shouting and screaming and raging for. Big, monstrous, slatted things that have a screen to tell you what particles are going in and out of them. Perfect. Couldn't have put it better myself. This is what we all needed. According to reports, the high-tech trees will come at a cost of up to 350,000. Not 350 quid. 350,000.
No! God, please, no! No! No!
That's right, $350,000 for the year, including maintenance. There's no maintenance on an actual tree, There's maintenance on these things. 350 grand for 5 of those yokes, and has been funded through the emergency COVID fund, because it's not like the economy's not in shreds or anything. It's not like we're like a third is it a quarter of a trillion? A quarter of a trillion the country is in debt at the moment. I think we're the third highest indebted country per capita in the world. And yet, we're able to spend €350,000 on 5 of them. Seriously, I'll give them 3 to 6 months. That's how long they'll last. That's how long they will last before they're wrecked. With people peeing on them and giving them a belt of a hammer and falling into them and throwing points at them and stuff. Honest to God, who thinks of these things? According to Green Party Cork City Councillor Dan Boyle and Dr. Dean Venables, an air quality and atmospheric scientist at UCC, discuss the trees on drive time. Well, we don't want to listen to that because RT is basically a load of crap. I wouldn't use them for very much. Certainly not if you want to be informed. Really informed with what's going on. RTE is not the place I would start looking. All right, so here we go. Who have we got here? Yay, Cork! Yay, Cork! Oh, this is a real thing. I don't know where I found this. This is nearly as good as Hunchmag. Do you remember Hunchmag? I haven't seen what Hunchmag had to say about this. I don't think they had anything to say on it. But Hunchmag's another good one, another MacGuffin. I love these. Yay, Cork! Yay! All right, what does Yay Cork has to say? This is by Yay Cork. I'm taking it that's not a real person, but sure, in this day and age, who knows? What did you call your kid? She's called Yay. Yay Cork. I don't know. Look, it's possible. What do you want? What do you want from me? I don't even understand how these things work anymore. A copse of Yay Cork says a copse of controversial new robot trees. We're not quite there yet. Has appeared on St. Patrick's Street. Right there's one of the trees opened up. You see there's a bit of moss there. Stuck a bit of moss on what looks like a bit of a filter thing. Yeah, it's like the thing that's over your cooker. You know, the thing that takes the steam away. Seems like somebody got one of them, just stuck a bit of moss to it, and there you go. 350 grand. Only 50 grand a pop. I'd have done it for 30. I'd have made one of these for 30. I would. Still might, actually, if anybody down in Cork is listening. I'm available. It mightn't be quite as tasty in the woodwork. I'm not that gifted in woodwork, but I could certainly I'd knock something up for you. Moss, a few filters, yep. I'd even stick a little flat screen TV. Could do all that. 30 grand. That's what I'm saying. The offer's out there. The reaction has been mixed. Well, you don't say. A number of new robot trees have appeared on St. Patrick's Street as part of a Cork City Council drive to make the city air cleaner for residents and for visitors. Well, feck all visitors this year and last year, but I suppose we live in hope. The city trees, also known as moss wall towers, absorb air pollutants such as particle matter, PM, to the boffins, and nitrogen oxides, NOx, and emit clean air. But then, isn't that what trees have been doing since the dawn of creation? I don't know. Sorry, I'm not. Alright, what's this? Cork City Council. # stay safe. Blue check mark. The first of our city trees, only 50 grand a pop, were installed today on St. Patrick's Street. City trees, says Cork City Council, help combat dust, fine dust particle pollution and other pollution associated with traffic congestion. Air pollution causes up to 1,300 deaths a year, says EPA Ireland. Check out corkcity.ie. There you go. There's the arriving on the truck there. 50 grand each. Where did they come from? I think did they come from Germany or something? We'll have a look at that in a minute. There you go. If there's the trees getting installed, I tell you, I give it 3 to 6 months. That's it. 3 to 6 months, they'll be wrecked. And you see the tree there beside it, that little tree there is still there, still doing what it's always done, just helping the environment in a natural way. These yokes, they'll be gone. They'll be wrecked. There'll be graffiti on them. There'll be points and drink thrown at them. There'll be lads kicking them. There'll be people falling into them. It's going to be, no. Stop it, Cork. Stop it. Right, here we go. Made by German company Green City Solutions, says yay Cork. Each city tree can do the pollution zapping that pollution. Do the work of 275 real trees, says the company that made them. I'd probably say that too. For if you want me to make one 30 grand, mine will probably be doing the work of 300 trees. Just saying there. Can I prove it? No. Can these people prove it? Probably not. The city tree filters 3,500 M3. Is that cubic meters of air every hour? So says the people that made them, and they wouldn't be biased, which corresponds to the early breathing of approximately 7,000 people. The company says, because they're trying to sell these 50 grand a pop, the company says the idea is to use a number of the towers to create a place that invites you to enjoy the space and take a deep breath. This is Ireland. We are one of the greenest countries in the world. We are one of the freshest countries in the world. We're known the world over for our nature, for our great greenness. We're looking as the Emerald Isle, the green Isle. So anyway, we're buying 50 grand wooden robot trees now to help ourselves out and make us even more green. Sounds rather lovely, actually. What is it? Oh, there's a tweet from Duke's Coffee Company. Well done, Cork Cocoa, at Cork City Council. Providing purified air to our city, says Duke's Coffee Company, who are in no way sucking up to the council. With that tweet. That's in no way licking up to the council there. No, they're just totally and utterly in awe of this modern wonder of technology. Scientific studies by the Leibniz Institute for Tropospheric Research have shown that moss mats clean about 80% of fine dust from the air by trapping and eating it, making it a sustainable and regenerative fine dust filter. And that's all fine and well till the damn things break down, and then you ring the lad and the lad can't come out because it's a weekend and he can't come out till Tuesday because it's a bank holiday weekend and he's not working. That's when the whole thing goes to shit. And then there's a few raucous parties going on. There's a bit of some lads getting full and falling over themselves, and the lad trips his mate and he falls and bashes into one of these, and that's it, broke. And eventually they're just spending all their time fixing them. It's like them photocopiers. They were great, but they just kept breaking. So you were forever on the phone getting the maintenance guy to come out and keep fixing it. Eventually you just threw it in the bin, and you just stop. This is going to be like this with these feckin' trees. I tell you, there'll be more trouble than they're worth. Meanwhile, all the actual trees will be fine. They'll just be happily growing away and filtering air as they've always done and as they always will do. But no, we have to buy these expensive 50 grand jobs because that's we want to be so modern. The pilot project for Cork, let's finish this from Yay Cork, was first announced in 2020 as part of the €4 million green stimulus package. They just couldn't spend the money fast enough. It was later dismissed as a waste of public money by Labour's John Maher. I'm not a big fan of the Labour Party, but John Maher seems to at least have his head screwed onto his shoulders there. A waste of public money. I think I'd agree with that sentiment, John Maher. Much of the confusion seems to come from the belief that the moss towers are an alternative to real trees. However, Cork City Council's tree planting programme continues apace, with 1,300 trees planted in parks and communities across the city throughout 2021. Well, if they hadn't spent 350 grand on these yokes, how many more trees could they have actually planted? One wonders. Let's hop on over here to the Irish Examiner. New robot trees installed in Cork City streets. Yeah, we got that bit. The high-tech trees take in particular. There you go. There's a fairly spruced up picture of one of the things there. That's it in all its glory. Bit of moss inside there. You can see, you kind of see where they're going with that. 50 grand though. 50 grand. Criticised as a costly and ineffectual gimmick. Yes, indeed. So Liz Dunphy and Owen English, they write controversial robot trees. Why do I keep thinking? No, it's nothing like that. Controversial robot trees have been installed in Cork city centre to help to clean pollutants from the air. 5 high-tech, high-cost trees costing some 350 grand for the year. Now hold on a second now. Including maintenance. One thing I'm just curious about here. They keep saying costing some 350 grand for the year. So does that mean that the 350 grand is the whole thing for a year? Are they renting them? Or have they bought them? Like, have they bought them and then there's some kind of maintenance contract, like with your photocopier? You know, you used to have, you buy the thing and then you'd also buy the package, which meant you could ring the lad to fix it as many times as you wanted, or up to a certain point where you had to come out and keep fixing it. That was all part of the cost. But what I'm reading here is, so it's 350 grand for the year. So does that mean, right, they've bought the trees, which, fair enough, and they've also bought a contract to keep fixing the things, because they are going to break, and by God, they're going to break a lot, I would imagine. They'll break to the point where they just say, oh, look, just get rid of them, just quietly make them disappear. The people at Cork will just arrive in one Monday morning and they just won't be there. They won't be there. They'll be gone. They'll just disappear. They'll have evaporated. They'll just have gone into the ether, and that'll be the end of that, and there won't be a word about it. It's going to be a mess. Right, so yeah, so I'm just wondering, are they basically just, I mean, if they don't want to renew this thing, can they, do the company just take them back, or have they actually bought the trees? Maybe we'll find out, but I'm a bit dubious about this. City trees are large structures covered in mosses designed to filter the pollutants and fine dust particles and the NOx and all that sort of stuff. The moss acts as a filter to trap and eats the fine dust and all that. Right, we got that. Scientific studies by the Leibniz, we know about that. It cleans 80%, we know about that. They've also got built-in sensors to collate air quality data for analysis, and a 40-inch TV screen to share information about air quality in the city, which, if I know these people, they'll just be running ads on those. I'd say the amount of time to be sharing the air quality will be feck all. They'll just probably be running ads in the city centre and charging a fortune for it. That's what that 40-inch TV screen is going to be used for. You mark my words. Flipping ads for done stores. Right. The Cork City Council said that they form one part of its strategy to tackle pollution, which also they planted 1,300 trees. I'd say they could have planted 3 or 4 or 5 times that with the money they spent on this joke. Quote, these are not there to replace a tree, as they replace trees. A tree takes in carbon dioxide and releases oxygen. So David Joyce, he's operations director in Cork City Council, so he's obviously standing up for this great and brave decision. He's probably one of the people that made it, so he kind of has to. Honestly, do these people just sit around all day just thinking up baloney ideas? Wouldn't surprise me. Quote, these city trees take in particular matter, dust from diesel engines, from burning fossil fuels, and it captures that dust and eats the dust. I wonder, is it like that? So it takes 80% of that dust out of the air. Well, look, the proof of the pudding will be in the eating. All right. If it turns out that there's suddenly a load of people moving in around these things just because the air is so absolutely flippin' brilliant and they can't get enough breathing done, they're breathing as much of it, then I'll say, okay, fair enough, there might be something to this rubbish.
I think I can smell shite.
But somehow I can't see that happening. They're multi-purpose. There's another quote. They provide high quality seating and 40-inch TV screens which will be used to disseminate information, it'll be used to disseminate ads. The project is funded by the government, so it's free money. It's one of more than 500 such projects in 11 counties funded as part of a 55 million National Transport Authority funding package announced under the July stimulus in response to the COVID crisis. Did I mention that we're $250 billion in debt? No? Did anybody? Nobody cares about that. All right, not important. Right, we could spend money on this though. Don't put into something like the housing crisis. No, don't need to worry about that. That'll fix itself. Yeah, okay. Atmospheric scientist goes on the Examiner. Dean Venables said that the devices are, quote, a costly and ineffectual gimmick and will have no meaningful impact on the city's air quality. And look, I'm not a scientist like Dean Venables here, but with my layman's logical brain hat on here, I tend to agree with. I'm with him. Do I have faith in the clowns in Cork City Council? No, not much. I tend to veer over to Dean Venables, the atmospheric scientist, and what he says. I'm on that side of the fence. These are, quote, a costly and ineffectual gimmick, and a bloody expensive one too. Dr. Venables, a researcher at the Centre for Research into Atmospheric Chemistry at University College Cork. So he's down in Cork too. So he's close to the epicentre there. He's close to the blast. Told the Irish Examiner that Ireland's core strategy has to be about reducing emissions, not just clawing back some of the pollution after the fact. He said that although the city trees may clean the air in the immediate vicinity of the structures, they would have no discernible impact on overall air quality in the city. I would tend to believe that too, because that kind of makes sense to me. The most important strategy has to be to reduce emissions, he says. You need to stop emissions of carbon as well, rather than capture them and try to claw them back. This is kind of trying to do a thing after the horse is bolted. That's what they're trying to do here in a very expensive way. Quote, he goes on to say, burning solid fuel, coal, peat, wood causes the worst pollution in Cork City. In the city centre during the day, the main problem will be traffic fumes. Ireland has a large diesel fleet because it's not that long ago that the Green Party, don't you love those Green Party? The Green Party were telling us to all go out and buy diesel cars. Don't mind that petrol is what they were saying. Eamon Ryan et al. Don't mind those petrol cars. Get away from those petrol cars. Everybody go buy a diesel car. And the government then they helped that along. They changed the tax regime. They gave all sorts of incentives so that people would switch to diesel cars. And lo and behold, people did switch to diesel cars. But yeah, now diesel cars bad. Diesel cars bad. Don't be at them diesel cars, says the Green Party.
I think I can smell shite.
Is it any wonder? I struggle with these things. I struggle with them. So diesel cars, they produce matter and nitrogen oxide. So now they know that, but seemingly they didn't know that about 10 years ago when they were telling us all to go out and buy diesel cars, which we did. Quote, while I'm critical of the City Trees approach, as am I, what is positive is that air quality is recognised as an issue by the Council. As a result, Cork has the most innovative national approach to air quality monitoring with a network of low-cost sensors across the city. Alright, well I'm down with that. Yes, that's good. That's good, and I'm sure it's not very expensive to have a lot of monitors around the city and they're keeping an eye on things. Good, okay, yeah. That, I'm on board with that, you see. I'm on board with that. But these flipping robot trees, no, feck off now. Monitoring air quality will not by itself improve air quality, he goes on to say, but such measurements are the first step to raise awareness of the importance of air quality as a major public health issue. Well, I can't fault the man there, can't fault him for that sentiment at all. On Rower to Glass Councillor, Councillor Lorna Bogue. Rower to Glass. Was that the Green Party? Is it in Irish? Must be. Said that she has been getting, quote, a lot of contact about the robot trees. I'll bet she has. And I'd say it's contact she'd rather not get. Miss Bogue had been working on establishing... Oh, she's part of this. She seems to be in on this whole thing. Miss Bogue had been working on establishing a large-scale tree planting project in Cork City. Well, I can't fault her for that either. A large-scale tree planting thing, I'd be there, I'd be helping you plant the trees. And said that certain tree species, such as lime trees, are very effective at absorbing contaminants from the air. Oh, okay, maybe she wasn't part of this robot thing, but maybe she was just part of the tree planting. And in which case, I tip my hat to Ms. bogue there. As I say, I'd be out planting trees with you. What's this? We asked for this is kind of a, you see it there, a little kind of a, I don't know if it's a tweet or sort of a semi-tweet. We asked for real trees in Cork City. A little prayer thing there. We got these. We must have asked the wrong question, says Frank O'Connor. Frank O'Connor, is he a journalist or something? I think he is. And real trees would also contribute to a cooling effect by blocking sun and hitting the tarmac. So that's another thing that trees actually do that you probably didn't think of. Air pollution is responsible for 1,300 deaths. We read that in a previous thing. According to Build Up, the European portal for energy efficiency in buildings, every city tree reduces local air pollution in a proximity until 50 metres by up to 1/3. So that's just one tree does that. So get the trees in, you know. Like, you know, lads can kind of pee on them, fall into them, you know, lean against them, throw points on them, push their mates into them, and the trees will just stand there. The trees don't care. But you try and do any of that to these new things, I guarantee you that things will be broke, there'll be sparks coming out of them. They'll be wrecked. 3 months, I give it 3 months, maybe 6 months if they really push it. But then they'll just quietly disappear off the streets and you'll never hear them again. City trees are self-sustaining. All right, fair enough. Have you anything on the Twitter sphere? What have you got in the Twitter sphere? From the great and the good and the unwashed, they're all on Twitter. Right, Michael Moynihan, robot trees, exclamation mark. Yes. That's what I was thinking myself. Today's city column. I'm all for green spaces in the city, but it's hard to move past the robot trees. Yeah, okay, there's a picture of the robot trees there, getting installed. Quote, who's this? From P. Aileen, or P. Lovehearts, don't know really which way to take that one. The city trees also have inbuilt sensors to collate air quality data for analysis and 40-inch TV screens to share information about air quality in the city, as well as inbuilt public seating. Sure, it's great. Why doesn't every town and city and village and Boreen have one of these? Only 50 grand a pop. Only 50 grand a pop. Foggy Jew says, sorry to Cork folks, but anytime you ever get uppity about who's the real capital again, I'm just going to say robot trees. Lol. And that's the end of that argument, to be honest. Yeah, well, Cork people do like to think we're the real capital. I've heard that plenty of times, especially when I was down in Cork. Cork City, the real capital. Yeah, well, as Foggy Juice says, anytime any of them langers say that to me again, I'll just mention robot trees, and that'll be discussion about capital over. There's Virgin Media showing a lad, he's installing the trees. Okay, we're not going to play that. More robot trees there. Eamon Dunphy, I don't know what he has to say about it. What's Miriam O'Callaghan saying here? These are truly appalling and demonstrate a complete lack of understanding of nature itself and the imagination and thinking necessary to tackle climate change, of which air quality is a critical aspect. Okay, anything here? Right, yeah. Okay. Peter Ryan, we don't want your robot trees. We don't. Okay. What's El Marie Marway? Cork got a lot of flack this week for the robot trees. Other EU cities just call them pollution-absorbing street furniture, like the ones with seats in London and others with advertising in Barcelona. Alright, so other cities seem to have a few of these knocking around there. It's different models, not sure what they cost. There's a... Yeah, okay, same kind of a thing. So they are a thing. It's not just Cork's not out on a limb here. I mean, they're not everywhere. I haven't seen them anywhere before, but they are a thing. John Burke, FRSA at John Burke UK. What if I told you there was a single intervention we could deliver in our cities that would cool them during heat waves, reduce flooding, scrub pollutants from the air, boost biodiversity, improve public health and even reduce crime? You wouldn't believe me, but it's true. And there it is. Actual trees. Loki de Burka at Brian D. Burke. To whoever sabotages those robot trees, I would like to congratulate you now. Come on, Loki. That's a bit early for that. Dr. Harold News at Dr. Harold News says, Gardaí are warning the public to be careful. after Cork City Council answered an 083 number and paid 350 grand for 5 robot trees. Oh, those 083 numbers, yeah, always a scam. Again from Dr. Harold News, the fresh clean air helps me sleep at night. Cork City homeless man praises council for installing 350 grand robot trees. Yeah, don't mind the homeless, get those robot trees in there. Cossan writes, 350 grand spent by woke Cork City Council on 5 robot trees. For that money they could have planted 410,000 actual trees. Heads should roll for this scandalous waste of taxpayers' money. But of course accountability is dead in this country, so they'll get away with it again. And so say all of us. Mallow News, breaking. Cork City Council spends 500 grand on giant robot lumberjack used to prune robot trees. There's a lumberjack there. Well done. Okay, and it's Waterford Whispers. Waterford Whispers News. Robot trees overthrow Cork Masters following power surge. There you go. You see the robot tree. Yeah. Alright, well done. Okay. Yeah, Frank Conlon, shame on them for spending that amount of money on those robot trees, and they won't spend money on the homeless. Yep, that seems to be the sentiment. A lot of people just not happy with this. A lot of people not buying this, and including myself. I think they've kind of gone down the wrong road there. Look, I'm all for modernity. I'm all for technology. I'm all for forging ahead. I'm all for trying new things. They're all good. They're all positive, and you need to explore all these things. But you really have to do this with a very straightforward, logical eye on the thing. You can't just get caught up in the modernity or caught up in the technology. Technology doesn't always do what you want it to do in the way you want to do it. And oftentimes, if you make a mistake on that path, you spend a hell of a lot of money trying to fix it, and a lot of money doing it. And in this case, 350 grand. And I'm not even clear from the articles I've read there and anything I've read about it. Have they physically bought the things, or have they pretty much just, is 350 grand just what they've rented them for the year? I don't know. I don't know either way. Either way it's wrong. And if it's the fact that it's 350 grand a year, then stop, Cork City Council. Stop this nonsense right now. I don't think they'll last a year. I think they'll be wrecked in a few months, and they'll just be quietly made to disappear, and that'll be the end of robot trees. There'll be no more robot trees. Well, at least not until this happens.